Hey everyone, welcome to Kids Connection, our virtual connection time. So this is my first time doing this. I was very nervous. Amelia and I prayed together because I didn't know what to expect, and brand new things are overwhelming to me. But I'm really excited to be here, and I'm excited that I have you all here with us. But I do want to say that it's been strange not being with you all at church, my church family, and not being together is a challenge. But I'm excited that we could set this up and have this time to connect, which is awesome. So, since I was feeling a little bit nervous and got butterflies in my stomach, I thought it would be a fun way to start things off by having everyone, wherever you are, go out over to your windows and take a look outside. And the reason why I'm suggesting this is because we are all together right now on YouTube, but we're in different places. So Ava and Amelia and I, we're here in Minneapolis, and I know my parents might be watching. They're out in Dassel. Some of you guys are in White Bear Lake, Stillwater. If it's raining where you are, but it's raining where we are. And tell us what it looks like outside. I see that we have some people commenting, which is awesome. Hi, Wendy. I'm glad you're joining us. So yeah, let's all take to go get a breath of fresh air, look out our windows, and come up with one or two things that you see. If you see any birds outside or any people walking their dogs. So with that, I'm gonna have Ava and Amelia walk over to the window and report back, okay? I will too, so we'll see what happens. Hold on one second. You guys go too.
It's raining.
See any birds anywhere?
Raining.
No? Any birds on the trees?
I see houses and things.
Looks like Kathy Schumann says it's raining in White Bear Lake right now. Amelia and Ava report rain. My mom says it's very fresh. She has a lot of bird feeders, and there's a big red cardinal at the bird feeder. So, awesome. It's raining in Hugo, where Wendy is. That's so fun. I love hearing from you guys. Wonderful. So, we went for a walk earlier today before we started things off. And girls, Ava, can you tell them what happened with your rain boots?
They got an inch of water in them.
Ava made a point of trying to get water into her boots and then see how much she could gather. But it was a pretty fun walk. We took some pictures together. Yeah, it was chilly to get rain in your boots. I agree. Well, awesome. So I don't know if you guys watched my other YouTube video, but we talked about that that Bible verse, Matthew 6:26. And it's all about, it said about the birds in the sky and how they don't reap or sow or gather into barns. So I wanted to start our time together singing a song called Three Little Birds. And this song was written by Bob Marley, who was a great musician and a freedom fighter. He passed away when he was very young, but his music lives on a lot of people. And he was a very spiritual man,
Yep.
Praise God. And so I'm going to get my setup here. Girls, if you want to sing with me, that would be great.
Bye, Mom. Mom's going to church.
Can you head over to this side by Mr. Frog? Anyone notice this cool frog picture? You guys get a view of our house now with our Facebook Live. What's cool is I have this sort of new guitar that Marco worked up for me. It's an electric guitar. It's been fun to play with. It has a nice clean sound. You can't see my head? I know. All right, so I know I emailed most of you the words to this song, but we're going to sing through several times, so if you don't know the words at the beginning, you'll get it by the end of the time. Say don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds were on my doorstep, singing a sweet song with the melody pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Yeah, sing along. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Sing along with me out there in YouTube land. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds upon my doorstep, singing a sweet song with the melody pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Let's sing it through one more time. 'Cause I woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds were on my doorstep, singing a sweet song with the melody pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Last time, singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Saying, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Awesome. That was a fun song.
With our cat Gigi.
With our cat Gigi. All right. So, thank you for singing along. I'm glad to see we have a nice chat conversation going on. This is great.
I like
Excuse me,
this
Amelia.
one.
Yes, Queen. Your cat is cute. Thank you, Kayla. All right. So, I think it's fun to incorporate music. So on Wednesdays, while we're here virtually, we're going to be bringing on the music. We have some more stuff coming up later. Amelia Cat. But for now, that was a good time. It was great to have you all with us. All right. So I want to move into our Bible story. Since that song was talking about how we don't need to worry about a thing, which is a very good point, because we have someone far more powerful than we who we can lean on and trust, which is our Creator. And He gave us amazing friends and an amazing family that we can also lean on and trust. And so this story in the Bible is a story that highlights 3 people who put their trust in God even though something crazy was going to happen to them. But I'm not just going to tell you where to find it in the Bible. You are going to do a little hunting before you get to hear the story. Now, we haven't done this before, so I'm excited. We're kind of going to do find it in the Bible. So I'm going to give you a few clues before we read the story. The first clue is that the story in the Bible is in the Old Testament. Now, there are two testaments in the Bible, the old one and the new one. Now, Ava, do you think if it's in the Old Testament, is that before or after?
Before Jesus was born.
Okay, so it was before the New Testament, so it was in the Old Testament, which means that it was at the beginning of the Bible, because the Bible is divided into two sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Excuse me, Amelia, I'm having a hard time getting through. So we're going to find our story in the Old Testament. That was our first clue. The craft will be coming up in a little bit. All right.
And Rocky's outside.
That was a question that someone put up. The second clue is that this book in the Bible of the Old Testament begins with the letter D. All right? So now, if you want to try and look in your table of contents and look in the Old Testament books and then report back to me how many books in the Old Testament begin with the letter D. I'm going to let you look in your Bibles because there's usually a table of contents at the beginning,
It's
which
backwards.
will list the books. So find the Old Testament, look for all the books that begin with the letter D. Anyone have any idea how many books begin with the letter D? Amelia, can you please close that? Ava, do you want to look through here and
Yes.
see if you see any D books in the Bible? I see one.
Oh, yeah.
Deuteronomy. Now that's a mouthful.
Deuteronomy.
Is there another one that starts with the letter D? Oh, and there's Daniel. So there's two books in the Old Testament that begin with D. Deuteronomy and Daniel. All right. We're narrowing our clues down. So the third clue is this book in the Bible that starts with the letter D has 7 letters. So does Deuteronomy have 7 letters in it, or does Daniel have 7 letters? Ava? Does Deuteronomy have 7 letters in it, or Daniel?
Daniel does.
Daniel! 2, nice job. Rediger family, you're right. 2 D's. Now we know that we're in the book of Daniel. So everyone, let's head over to the book of Daniel, which I marked myself, so I'd have an easy find. And we are in chapter 3. Can you guys find Daniel chapter 3? Yes, you're right. It's the fiery furnace story. So while you guys look through the story, I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. So there was this king, King Nebuchadnezzar, and he was king over a lot of land. I mean, imagine he was the king of the United States, just tons of land. And he, because he was the king, had a lot of money and a lot of gold and jewels and silver and everything. He had access to it all. So he said, all right, I am going to build an enormous golden statue. It's going to be amazing. No one's going to have ever seen anything like it before. It's going to be astounding, magnificent. And everyone was like, all right, you're the king, so we'll do what you say. And they built this amazing golden statue. And he was so tickled by it that he said, all right, I like this statue, and I want everyone to see this statue, and then I want everyone to get down onto their knees in awe of this amazing statue that was built because I wanted it built, right? And so everyone was like, okay, that sounds good. And Nebuchadnezzar said, at 12 o'clock, there's going to be a bell that I'm going to ring, and you're all going to bow down to this amazing statue. And a lot of people did. But there were 3 people who did not feel good about this. And their names were really interesting. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Because they were Jewish, and they believed in God, and they did not think that it was okay to bow down to something that was not God. And so they said, nope, we're not going to do it. We're not going to bow down.
Nope.
And so when everyone else was bowing, they stood up, and they were probably praying to God. And King Nebuchadnezzar noticed that they weren't bowing down, and he got real upset. And so he said, all right, guys, if you don't bow down, I'm going to throw you into a fiery furnace and you're going to die. And they were like, well, we would rather you not do that to us, but we will not bow down to a golden statue because our faith and our trust is in God. And King Nebuchadnezzar said, all right, well, you didn't do what I wanted, so in you go. They tied them up, they put them into this furnace, and it was so hot that the soldiers that were bringing them to the furnace, they died from the heat. And so King Nebuchadnezzar was like looking into his furnace, and he was like, all right, well, they should be dead by now. And he looked in there, and they weren't. And in fact, he saw not just 3, but 4 people walking around inside this fire. Have any of you ever been burned or been close to a fire? It's hot. So something miraculous was happening with those 3 guys. And when they finally, King Nebuchadnezzar was like, come out, get out of there. And they came out, and he was like, I believe that your God is the God, the creator, because he saved your life. And they said, yes. Our God is the true God, and we put our trust in him. We knew that we were going to be scared, but we weren't going to worry because we were going to trust that God was going to take care of us, regardless of what happened. And that's exactly what God did. So I'm going to encourage all of you to take a few minutes right now with your family and share what you thought was most interesting about this story. So talk about any questions you might have, talk about what stood out to you the most, but take a few minutes to talk with your family, Amelia, about what you thought of the story. And then I'm going to play the guitar a little bit to give you guys time to talk to your family members about what you found most interesting about the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm going to play one little song. You guys talk amongst yourselves about the story we just read. Okay, guys, I cannot be making faces just because people are supposed to be talking together. All right? You can get ready for Turt and Bit, because that's going to be coming up next. Oh, yeah. All right, everyone. So, what did you all think of the story? Did you talk to each other about how you thought it was and any questions you might have had? Yep, they put their trust in God and they believed in him. So cool. That is cool. I mean, we all are believers in Christ, but they were put to the test, which is a totally different thing. And God stayed with them the whole time. I'm going to take a drink of water. 1 minute, please. So, now that we learned about this cool Bible story about trusting God even when we're worried or concerned, we are badness kids. I appreciate that insight. It is hard to challenge a king's orders, that's for sure. I can't imagine how hard that was to stand up for something you believe in when the king's telling you to do something. All right, I love all these comments. You guys are fantastic. I miss you. All right, so girls, we're going to be moving on. I have a little surprise for you, and I'm going to be rotating my camera so that you can see a little different scene. So give me a second while we set this up. But do you all remember our good friends Turt and Bit? Because they are going to be joining us for a short little story. Turt the turtle and Bit the rabbit are going to be jumping off of the page, the written word, and into my house, if it works out. So I'm going to rotate the camera. It's going to be a little strange. I have an enormous plant here that we have in the house that we can't wait to bring outside when the weather gets warmer. All right, now I'm setting things up at Bit's. This is Bit's house. Oh yeah, thank you. All right, so I will be narrating this awesome little story. Okay, here we go. Wait, oh yes, thank you. One day, as Bit sat at a table doing a crossword puzzle, there was a knock on the door. Bit opened the door and found Turt had come over for a visit. Hi, Turt. Hi, Bit. Turt sounded a little bit nervous and glum. So Bit invited Turt into her house and said, Is something worrying you? Turt sighed. I'm nervous, Bit. I've been listening to the news on TV, gave Turt a hug, and said, I get worried too, Turt. Turt asked, What do you do when you're worried? Bit thought a minute and said, Well, I like to read the Bible and see what Jesus says about fear. He told his disciples and followers to fear not, to put their trust in God. God created the whole world, and he is in control, even when things feel out of control. Turt smiled slightly. That does make me feel a little bit better, he said. And when you were nervous, Turt, what did you do? Well, I came to see you, Bit. Exactly. You came to visit a friend who you trust and who loves you. God gave us families and friends to help us when we're nervous and scared, so we don't feel alone. I feel a lot better. Thanks, Bit. Turt, do you want to come and have some popcorn with me and watch a movie? That sounds great. Okay, come to the kitchen with me and help me make it. All right. All right. Let's do a round of applause for our puppeteers. Yay. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Amelia. It was good to have Turt and Bit there, too. They're going to be joining us probably now during our Wednesdays because it's fun to have that little puppet time. Now, before we do anything else, I am really excited about the writing and drawing prompts that I've received from all of you guys.